Okay, so I got my new flat wood for my Mortal Kombat control panel screwed to the old one and fastened in my vise because I'm gonna try to use this as a, holder here. So I have my new board on. I got my holes drilled in the center of my holes that I'm gonna route out. Yeah, wish me luck. There's my holes, guys. I'm going to now change bits so I can do the proper recessing where I need to recess. It's not going to be picture perfect like the original, but it'll function. Good thing there's a metal plate that goes over this. Well, this will face down. The bottom side next to the pattern is what faces up. You get my point. Alright, gang. Got a nice tight fit. Nice and flush across here, not all warped like a rainbow. Yeah, these aren't carved out like factory, but underneath the metal plate, it's gonna be good. Gonna be good. Alright. Now some of you that's been paying attention might have asked me a question while you were watching my videos. And I could hear you saying, Josh, how are you gonna cut a T-molding slot in here with that wood so close? Your nut's gonna drag into the side of your cabinet. Never fear, I've thought of that. So, normally a T-molding bit is set up like this. So I'm gonna take this nut off here. Okay. And I'm going to take this off. Put me some washers in there so I can bring this blade all the way out to the end of this nut and put the rider bearing on the inside so I don't have much overhanging this shaft. So let's take a look at it here, and then I'll come right back on and we can see the difference. Okay guys, see what I mean? I just don't have as much shit out here on the end anymore. And it'll still ride on that bearing right here. So it'll be able to guide, and I'll be able to set it to the depth. And when I'm cutting, I won't have a bunch of stuff overhanging here, grinding into the front of my cabinet. So I just made a test cut. Well, actually, I've made a couple. But this one looks fairly close to the eye to me. So I'll actually take calipers and measure, from the inside to the outside and from the inside to the outside. And if it's within a few thousandths, then I'll call it good enough. Sometimes when it looks like it's close like that, you'd be surprised how much it's off when you measure it with something like that. Alright, cut the T-molding slot in the front of this control panel. Now if you notice, it's off center, but for the regular 3/4 plywood, it's set dead center. You have to remember this plywood here is not 3/4, but about time you add this plate and the polycarbonate on here, it gets real close to 3/4. So when you cut it, it's going to be a bit offset. You want to make sure your shallow side is facing up though when you do cut it. So normally at that point, let me see how to explain this. Your your bottom side of the control panel is gonna ride between your blade and your router bottom. You know what I mean? Because that's the set distance right there to be 1/2 of 3/4. So if you ever cut a T-molding slot in here, I guess my theory would be make sure your fixed cut between the blade and the bottom of the router is on the bottom side of your control panel, so the remainder is up towards the top, and then when you stack stuff on it, you'll get your space that you're missing, if that makes sense. Because if you do it the other way, you would be putting your thick side up, and then you stack all this, your T-molding will really all be screwed up. So, what I need to do to this cabinet next is I'm gonna sand down the box a little bit better. I may put another coat on the sides here. I may not, I don't know. I'll need to lay this cabinet on its side, sand this side to get all the overspray off, or at least smooth it out, and then cut the T-molding grooves, flip it over, do the same thing, and then it'll be taken back to the house for final assembly. So we'll try to get some film footage of that for you. But I think I'm done building and maintaining any wood that I need to maintenance. So I think we're ready to put it together. So, like and subscribe. Alright, peace.